Medicine Woman Solution. So we think life sometimes can get too much for us, and that life, to some degree, is overwhelming. And what I've noticed is that my hair needs fixing. Okay, spirits are here complaining about the way I look. Leave me alone. But it's also a good thing. First thing we need to do when there's distractions like that is to, finger in the belly button and one on the forehead. You push in and you lift up. And you just take a second and to help us to connect. And then we'll go into how we can see with spirit. Straighten up the spine and breathe in and out. There's going to be healing classes, so I've decided that and then there are courses on how to heal the dark night of the soul. Okay, another thing put into the room, how you choose to show up. Responsibility is that ability to respond. And just because you smile, but you're bitching in your head, you can still send out broadcast messages. You can do a lot of damage. Or if you're not even having stinking thinking, which a lot of your ankle, okay? Now, you can obviously see this leg's up and that it is resting on my other knee. Some of you can't see it. That's fine. But wherever you have put your leg up and your foot, okay? So wherever your foot is, you raise your hand up. So my foot's on this side. I'm going to put my hand on my ankle, put this one on the soles of my feet. Now, take your shoes off if you want, or you can use intention. This time when you breathe in, you're going to kind of straighten up your spine and slowly kind of pull your foot towards you a little bit. And it helps to open up the hip flexors, get the energy moving through the bladder meridian, the gallbladder scatter. This is called the Wayne Cook posture. You can find it on my website here under Healing Tools. Again, whatever side the foot is, you raise your hand, slap it on the ankle, put the other hand on the bottom of the foot. So as we step into the room, sometimes we have this energy that's off. We're scattered, we feel flat, maybe we're not having enough money, or we don't have enough food, or we don't have a lot of it has to do with how we respond. It's how our bodies look at a clock, and because we have the circadian rhythms, that clock has a lot to do with how we think and we feel. A lot of our issues, our health issues, will get tripped at a certain point based on our memories. So how can you see it? First of all, begin to become aware when you feel off. Use energy tools, healing tools, resolving tools to help balance you again. Don't just sit and suffer. There's a lot to learn, but you can do it, okay? You can do it. I see my camera's off just a little bit. I'll fix it as soon as I get done. But we have a new thing before we go any further, and that is we've been collecting your names since March. And those names only can be in what's called the Hope Chest. And that Hope Chest is giving you a chance that every time you purchase to have a reading, to be on the show, you get your name put into the box, the Hope Chest. And it's worth $45. And it's 15 minutes to be on the show with me, to heal, to do whatever. Now, the thing about this is that if you don't want your face seen, that's fine. You can sit in the background like Amy does. Say hello, Amy. And she does have a voice. She is here. But at the same time, if you want your video up, then your video can be up as well.
Hi, everyone.
It is better. Go ahead.
I had muted myself.
See, and then when you come on, you can look like this. It's not a big deal. You just sit next to me, and it's worth it. Don't get into your fears. And if she were to pull a card today, for those that are really wanting to understand more of their life, Amy will grab a deck, any deck she sees, and we'll see what happens. Boy, your family is just, the last part of it is you put everything down, nothing's crossed, put your hands, and you're breathing. And you're breathing. Now, Now my energies are unscrambled. So that means when I come in the room, I don't have to wipe anybody out. And if somebody else is unscrambled, well, they'll have to deal with their own stuff. But they don't have to be. Feeling unscrambled can be out of sorts. There's actually an energy test for it, especially if you have problems reading, comprehending, typing, doing little things. Those can be signs. Now, I have the loved ones on the other side really complaining about my hair. But it's in. But you know what? I don't care. Oh, what? We wanted a crown on me? Whatever. Why not? Matches my logo, right? Okay.
All right.
So I will fix this camera. I'm assuming it's this one. Oh, it's not.
1 4.
Nope, that's the wrong way. I don't think that was any better. Well, at least that camera's not too screwed up. What?
Oh yeah, that's way better. YouTube was really blurry when I first got on.
I didn't even touch YouTube. It's funny. Just playing around with the one in the middle. You really care about yourself. But if you go into second guessing, into your fears, yell that shit because you deserve it. Your value is important. So much so that the hilarious thing, which it wasn't so hilarious, is that I know Mother Earth has been like, for years, all I could hear was Mother Earth knows how to heal herself. She'd like us to clean up our room, but she can heal herself if necessary. And what I thought was quite hilarious about all this was that it's showing whether it's fake news or not. I have no idea. It's just that like animals are returning, waters are clearing, air is cleaning up. Don't piss off Mother Nature is what you always heard. But Mother Nature just knows how to correct a particular thing. And that, as mothers, what do? We do. It's what's called black bagging it. Now, I couldn't put the comment out there because that would just be so wrong. But just listen to the thoughts here. Have you ever done it? Clean your room. Go in there and clean your room right now. So finally you get to that final ultimatum. You don't clean that room, I'm going to get a black bag. I'm going to black bag it. You just wait. And then I'm going to take all those things that are valuable to you because you can't find value in it. If you can't find value in it, I don't either. It's like, that would be like the ultimate, because you're trying. How many times have you not found value in yourself? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be in your way. Because we were taught, we looked at it. This is all created when we were kids. Because you want love, you want attention. You're thinking, well, maybe I'll second guess myself. You know what? You didn't find value. Take the discount tag that's on you, rip that up, and put a price tag so high that, you know what? Values yourself, and so other people will value yourself as well. And then your inner world can start creating a healthier outer world. Now, I'm not saying that you need to turn around and you need to get on your ego high horse. Not saying that. You need to get into your spiritual mindset and then allow yourself to understand the value of the lessons, the value in the growth, the value in love, the value in compassion. What is the one thing that this world is resetting? That's all I keep hearing is resetting. People are finding that even if they can't connect, they're going to show more compassion. Back home, one of my friends, because kids don't get certain food, and they rely on the school to get food. Well, some people are setting up else. There is all of these good things that are happening. And you know why this is important to understand? We have forgotten how to adapt. We just go into impending doom. We have forgotten that we have so much great knowledge and ideas from spirit. We shut that shit down because we just go into the next logical step. We go into the next program. This is what we're supposed to do. We forgot. And a lot of times me, then it can't help you type attitude. That's nuts. Wake up. Notice. You can have brilliant ideas. You can... I always like to use the show MacGyver because I have this island. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit is it's a thank you therapy that's on my site as well. But I just thank you, Spirit, for showing me. Okay, It's a different way to pray. It's a different way to communicate. It's not, it is about a communication process. And lo and behold, I was sitting there and it's outside, walked into the other rooms. What do I got? What do I got? I got too many coffee tables. So I stacked them up. Oh, we had a kitchen. I got all these little cubby holes and I got the island and I love it. Is it brand new? No, it's upcycling. Is it creative? Yes. Did I feel like, oh, poor me? No, I didn't have to go into that belief system because that's not where I want to live or where I want to put my energy. So I decided to move forward. I decided that I'm going to do things differently. And thank you, Spirit. And I was excited that I began to create. So half the stuff we can learn how to recycle and we can draw into us. It's not about begging. It's like, okay, thank you, Spirit. Show me what to do next. Show me what I need to do. Now, there are some times that we have to, as a healer, I understand fully what we do. And, charting that, putting it into words is not the easiest. Trying to get my show up so I can actually see it, so I can be on the same page as you guys. I think that'd be kind of important. But it's not working. So, oops, wrong one. When you can't see, people say, well, what lesson do you have to go through? What am I going through? Sometimes you just can't see it. Well, don't get into ego and don't get anal. Sometimes you will have to get that bitch slap so that it can hurt. Sometimes you get that bitch slap so you can change, but sometimes you don't know what that change is. What is it? You have to pay attention to is that if it hurts, understand, one, you've decided to separate the energy. There is a memory. It could be in the tone of words. It could be the filter of the way you heard it. And any tools to resolve it. We just know that the ego takes offense, hurts the pride. The other person looks like a bully unless they really are a bully. Like when I do my readings, a lot of people that if they're in ego, they're like, Jesus, she's judgmental. But if you are in spirit mind, you can begin to hear the way that I'm actually talking is to help you understand that you're losing power here. Let's get a chance to heal this. And so it'll have me trigger them, and I don't like that. Because it's just, I don't like that, but I understand what happens. And so, I just can't get on the darn. It helped me chart even further the thing that I'm supposed to do, because when you're trying to write, how does an ego work? How does the ego, what is the communication? What is the whole process? It's hard sometimes to put it in words. Now, I believe I need to get rid of the word hard, but at the same time, I don't have an English word to help you understand the dynamics of listening to spirit. So there's degrees of how you train yourself to hear spirit. Okay? There is degrees. It's not that I can't. It's just that where's the step? What am I missing? It's the same thing when you're trying to learn lessons. But the very first thing is if it hurts. Now, you can heal your hurt. But notice what you hurt. What are the words? What's going on? Because the person that's before you, and let's say you've aged beyond a certain, beyond your 20s, you really need to look at. Oh, I'm not getting in. You really need to look at how you respond, how you took it in, how if you're a victim, how did you hear it? What was this whole topic? This is the first thing you can do when it's how to hear with spirit, is that let spirit help decide, not ego. Ego will help you understand the depths of the pain, but at the same time, blah, 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 if it's happening again, understand you're in a program and you need to get out of it. So now it's like, how do you get out of it? Well, sometimes it's about being mindful. It's about jumping in and realizing there's something else going on. Just not sure what it is. Take a step back. What time of the day was it? This is a conspiracy or bad stuff's going to happen and you're trying to say that you're positive, but yet you're posting negative stuff. You're going to create a karma imbalance. And what's going to happen with a karma imbalance? You get backslap. So if you're being contradictory to your own words, you have to decide. You're just not letting me past. You have to decide how you really want to live your life. Don't just pretend what program keeps you in it. The program is that you just can't see it. Maybe that's the first thing. Begging for attention, or why do girls, for instance, fall for these guys that constantly only think of themselves? Well, it's because we feel this deprivedness. We feel this, oh, somebody's giving us attention. So even though I don't get attention, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. You can do amazing things with yourself if you can get past a certain way. So then you just have to reset and say, Spirit, you just have to begin to show me a little bit more, because this is not the answer. This is not how it's working to be. It's we are live, right? We do have people. I can't see. I have no idea. Is there people in the room?
Yes, there are some in the room. There are 4 on the phone.
Okay. Because it's just not letting me in. I feel like they put up a new algorithm or a new thing where, normally when you push this button or push that button, you can get right in. Go ahead.
Pin.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
It's not letting me pin. So,
I believe in putting up positive ones. Who survived? I like the fact that you can see that Tom Hanks and Rita have, they're going through it, but how does it really look like? We hear the scary stuff, but we don't hear that it could be mild. We don't hear all of these things because, the great concern, doesn't he have diabetes, I think? And so it's like, and it's supposed to affect the elderly. And, it's like when you have all of these donations you give, and I would love for them to report that the people that they want the donations for, I'd like to hear the people. Did they get the money? Or is people holding on to it and then charging a holding fee? I have no problem with loving, giving, and taking and helping others, but when it becomes to the point where you never hear if it's ever, end result. You just assume you're doing good. And so I had I can't remember how many violations because they had the word Corona in it. Even put a coronavirus joke. Corona beer, oh my God, Corona beer, stay away from me. And that was flagged as wrong. So they probably put a stop for me to be able to use my video. So I'd like to say that's not true, but they did it in the past. And if somebody has flagged me that I can't, because I'm wrong in some form, I can't do anything about it. I will have to wait for any of you guys to report it if you see an issue, and say, nope, she's not doing anything, because there's just no way I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
No, not people, not out there. I'm talking about the fact that I can't even get in my own fan page, and there's already an isolation. It's play on words here. I know that. Well, see, that's not doing it. So, Thank you, Spirit, for showing me what it is I need to do, because I've noticed the last few shows, it's all about some type of interruption, volume control, having a voice. I'm trying to do something and then Amy's thing goes off, or I'm trying to do something and the camera is fuzzy, and I'm trying to do, it's like, okay, so I understand that if we're trying to live a smooth life, it just may not be able to be smooth. Why not? We are in a transformation. We are having to expect it. How do you deal with putting up with these interruptions? Do you egotistically get pissed? Do you sit there and just go, oh my God, and just go into that hell? What do you do what do you do? Because, you got to understand that it's very, very important to know. It's very important, because if you don't see how you react, then you won't know how you're hurting somebody else as well. Blaming it all on them, or, however it is. So I got in because I said, thank you, Spirit. And my husband had said to me the other day, hey, and we have a mutual friend, cousin. I do, and, Betty. And it was, my husband says, I couldn't figure out how to get on, through Medicine Woman Solution or through Medicine Woman that day, didn't she? I said, yes. And so then I'm asking Spirit, I said, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. And see, and I'm a big example right now of what happens if you don't communicate with Spirit, or if you get into your ego mindset. So I says, thank you, Spirit. As I'm trying to talk to you, Spirit said, hey, and it showed a picture of my husband in my mind, him having that conversation with me. And that's like, oh yeah, so I will go to somebody's page. And so of course I went to, I don't know whose page it was, but it came up and it said, hey. And so I pushed that, and now I can see you guys. Yay! So I was a live example for you to see how you can really change your life around without having to lose your shit. It's like we get mad because our time's wasted. Our value is wasted. But guess what? Do we understand our own value? We can understand when, like, for instance, God, you just wasted my time. And we know how to disgust. We can get into anger. We can get into negativity. We can get into all of those old paradigms. Or we can begin to see how we need to change that. Okay? Now, the best medicine is to heal. Amy, communicate. What does that mean?
When you couldn't get in.
That
I was to relay what everybody was saying.
Aha, gotcha. Makes sense. Sorry, when I'm in spirit mode, it's like that should have made something. So now that I've had to be an example and I've had to do this, it's how to basically learn to say, thank you, Spirit. Think of ideas, and if you feel like you're trapped, be surprised. Spirit will show you how to reset. Spirit will show you how to take the next part of you, do the next thing. And that is, allow yourself that if you see that you are reacting in a negative manner, if you're reacting, or if you, or upgrade, because if you think your jokes are funny, but yet people take it personally, maybe you need to upgrade. You don't understand the way that you're projecting, putting the energy out, and any of those things. So saying you're sorry is that it can be very important to say you're sorry if you really mean it. But if we talk flippantly and just say, well, I'm sorry, versus, that's random. So how many names do you know that we have in the hope chest?
Let's see.
Sounds like a lot.
18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
Okay.
And I have about 3 or 4 more videos to go through to make sure I've got them all.
Okay, so we have about 24. Now, because this is our first time out, Amy, we may have to give me that list so I can email them saying, is it okay to put your name into the drawing? Because we have not legitimately said, hey, because sometimes people just don't want to win, especially if it's about being on a video. Somebody.
I'll get it to you.
Okay, thank you. So we had this person, because this is healing day. This person says I had fallen and I have a concussion. How do I correct that? Because if you've watched the movie Concussion, that can scare the willies out of you, especially if you've fallen and you've gotten concussions. I will tell you that the important part is to get the energies moving. So we're going to do this first example. Oh, Amy, if I know Kevin's paid, so he said he's in. He says he's in. And Betty, good call. Betty says, oh, sorry, Alan, I was deep sleep. And then she goes, oh my gosh, there it is, another one of my sorries. And so you getting to look at, how to is that you look at, oh, I just said it again. And spirit will begin to show you a particular pattern that you may not even be aware that's happening. So Miss Patty, when it comes to concussion, understand that your body is holding a memory. Now, there's stuff to do with where the energy can travel through or get stuck. So when I fell, and I fell like this, okay, but the energy got stuck in the middle one. And it was like, so during therapy, it's like you have to learn to, oh my God, this is ridiculous. And you're like, oh, so eventually you have to figure out how to bend them forward. There's all these different, you got to get all that. But I realized when I was talking to a physio one time, and the energy it's stuck. It's not moving. So we want that energy to move. Okay. We don't want the trapped energy from a physical accident to be there. There's several different ways to do this. For you, my dear, they're saying that we have to get this open. The large intestine is this first finger, okay? And lung is thumb, So when you're drawing your meridians, you have to get the energy moving. Now, we haven't talked much about drawing energies, but we really should, because there are points all along the, and if it has energy stuck in certain areas, it can cause disruptions. Okay, so I'm asking, what is the first one they want you to work on? And they're saying the large intestine. Now, you're like, the large intestine's in my gut and my head is on my head. How can you get a concussion? Okay, so it's the way it's drawn. Large intestine, okay, and you need to get in there. Now, I use my fingernails, but you can use a pen with minus the ink standing out, and you can get into that spot, okay? And you do a good 30 times. Now, another important point along here is when the 2 points come together. You're going to rub that a good 30 times. Now, another good point is that this one, because this has a lot to do with your lung, okay? You get in there and you'll find it if you have lung issues. Like, I will grab the heart and the lung, and at the same time, large intestine, all of those are like right in there. So I just get in there. Oh my God, it'll hurt like a mofo. LaRonda, you may want to check that out. So get in there. And now here's the other thing. It goes up, and it basically like swoops like this. Okay. Large intestine goes across my neck and my face. Yes. And it can affect everything, because one meridian is always communicating with another meridian. In the clock, it'll be there. You'll have two that are opposite. In a element, you'll have two that are buddies, but then communicate, support, and help control and take care of the kids type thing. But if it's going the wrong way, or if energy's stuck, you have this whole thing. So one of the things, and go up, come up, and go like this. Now, when I end it, I usually go right next to the nose, like, oh, do the other side match, eh? Okay, so yes, you do want to go to the other side. So you're going to, again, you can rub those points like I suggested, and then you make sure you first. Now, you want to do it 3 times. Now, if you do it backwards, that's a flushing. Now, sometimes that's required, but when you're done flushing, you need to do it in the correct way. There's actually a way for it, okay? That's the first thing. And is there anything else for this concussion to repair? They said that the toxins of energy that came from the fall, that's a buildup. And I asked, do you want them to draw it? And do you want to rub the source point? Yes. Do you want anything other? No. The one thing about this one, though, is that you have to look at the story, what was happening at the time, what, situation, what kind of thinking, what kind of feeling. And you're like, but that happened 2 weeks ago. But that's okay. Thank you, Spirit, with Grace and Ease showing me, remembrance of it. And it's important, because if you knew the time, then you can go into doing the horror points. And you'll see that on my website. And you'll see that it'll be an AM and a PM, and those points need to be rubbed. With the liver point, it's very important to understand that I want you to see the big toe and the second toe. As they come together, the bones will meet. Do both sides. Get in there and rub a good 30 times to help the energies to support, love, and move to help your body to jumpstart the innate healing. Thank you, Patty. All right. Anybody else, Ames? Was there anybody that paid? Let me just double check.
Patty's the only one that I have so far.
Okay, that's fine. Any of you that would like a healing, any of you would like a particular reading, you can email us here. And if you want to have an expedite, then that means that you want to come on the show, or you want to do it through the machine here, or if you just want your voice, you can do that. And today it is 23, because this gives me, why does it cost more today versus the rest of the week? Well, first of all, I already have it cheap. Kevin, you're up, dude. Kevin, you decide how you want it. You can come into the room. This is the room number. If you would like, Kevin, if you'd like to do it just like this, or you want to come on and just have the voice and not the video, your call, hun. We'll see how that goes and see how, what happens next. But it is important that you understand that today's show is about really, I'm expending, I know my value. So I expend more today than I do during the rest of the week. So I have to make sure the karma is balanced. That's why. So we'll just wait for Kevin. Amy's getting chewed up alive from her cat, giving too much love. And the cat says, no, my terms. So I would say that's a clue for Amy that in relationships, there's always a lot of, nope, you didn't pay enough, but I would have taken you in anyway and adjusted the time. But I appreciate it. So anyway, Patty, I would definitely say, okay, Patty, another thing that they're telling me, Patty, hopefully you timestamp this again for Patty just in case she left. She needs to begin to notice how she lives in indifference, meaning sometimes you can't be bothered. Sometimes you don't, it's not, you don't care about yourself. Sometimes you have to care about everybody else, but you're indifferent about everything. You hold L3D because the indifference is invading. You need to roll that out? No. And what comes out of it is that you don't have sympathy towards yourself. You can't receive sympathy from other people. Looking for the good. Because part of a light warrior is that you are learning how to use that right brain, learning how to connect with your higher self. Until you can learn how to connect with your authentic self, that higher self, and learn how to use the gut, the heart, and the mind, which again, I'm going to get these courses out there. You need to become the light warrior. The best thing you can do for the planet is find the good and watch if you're counteracting.
Brenda, you don't have the 23 up. You just have the 11 up.
Oh, well, I have 23 on the other page, 23 on the other page. God bless it. That's okay. Don't worry about it, Kevin. You don't have to pay the difference.
Betty caught it.
Thank you, Betty. I wanted to call you a nickname, but that didn't sound right. Did your mama? No, not your mama, your grandma. Something. Dad? No? Somebody. Kevin, don't worry about it. Where are you, dude? My fault. There is all these little things. I'm doing podcast. My fault, sweet pea. I really do. But I honor anyway. I appreciate you. Thank you. Bed. Really? That was... I thought I just completely said that wrong. Energy out there, sharing it out there. See, they completely dropped me. I must be waiting because I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Really, the spirits are having a talk in my head. If there's a particular class, now here's the thing I'm going to put out to you guys. You've been watching me enough now, and there's a part of you that says, I would like to learn from this woman, and then write to me. what would you like to learn from me? Because there's a lot of things that you may not see, and there's a lot of things that I may not see. And we have Kevin. Hey, Kevin, do you want me to put you on the big screen, or did you want to talk like this? Oops, hold on. There we go.
Hey.
Hi, darling. Can I make you side by side?
Yeah, that's fine.
Awesome. We like that. So we just have to wait. There we go. Ha! I love how Spirit did that. Okay. How you doing? Oh, now how'd that happen? Oh, okay, we're back. And see, it's all these communications.
So update.
Yes, update. That's what it's called.
I had a really, really, really good opportunity to employ a little bit of that toned down monk, like warrior monk thing. And I was really, really, really surprised at how effective it was. Like, I actually laughed about it while everybody else was just in sheer defensive mode. It was just good. It was good. It was good. And all I could do was just laugh. I laughed when we threw it. And my boss, I had 3 bosses, and one who was she's very in tune and the whole 9 yards. She's still like, hasn't worked on her issues. So she's triggered all the time by patients. And I just laughed it off. And I had to sit her down and talk to her. She's my boss. So it was really, really cool that I was able to see that progress of just almost overnight. And I hope to continue doing so.
Oh, yeah, you will. Trust me. The more you begin to see, Spirit brought this through. And when I started to do it for myself, I thought, well, this can't be true. That's happening too quick. And Spirit says, no, this is a wave of energy and it needs a movement. And I'm like, whoa, really? And then when I started seeing it replicate in other people, as long as you're stepping up to saying, I want to see a difference, I want to see a change, I'm ready to release stuff, Spirit then all of a sudden, good, now witness, because I want to graduate you, because we need to get this light warrior, we need to get this changed. And so I love to hear, it sounds strange, doesn't it? Because you're like, I have to sit somebody down and wait, what? I can pass on the teachings. Wait, what? Yes, yeah. Because then that means you're owning it, you understand it, and you can now provide it in such a way that you've never done before. You are doing more for the planet just because you're doing that. And you didn't do it in ego. Because if you did it in ego, then there would have been all these back issues, the out of sync, the backlashes, but she was ready to receive you. You were ready to give it.
Yes, she was. I think my approach was so genuine and not aggressive that she was receptive.
Yeah, and I know.
I agree. She had to walk out. She had to do her thing, screaming for attention, and he was able to grapple you in because you haven't dealt with him before. Where I, on the other hand, have, and I realized, and I was just like, all right, I don't have to deal with this on my own. There are people above me who have to deal with this. I will just see how this flows through, and I will interject when it is appropriate. And that's what I did.
Yeah, because when it comes, it's easy to do it when it's individual. Not fun to do alone half the time, but it is. But when you begin to interpersonalize with other people, when you learn how to bring your spirit into the space and be responsible for the energy you put out as well as what you receive, and then all of a sudden you can actually learn to turn the light on for others that had not seen the light before. So, this is where I say, hey, you just become a mentor and you didn't even know it, because you're channeling this energy of spirit through more of a purer heart, with a more pure, cleaner soul, with the ability to get connected with that higher self. So I'm so proud of you, Kevin. Good job.
Thank you. Thanks for facilitating that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I can't wait to get out there and teach it. So I'm turning the timer on now. What can I do for you, my dear, since your name is now in the hope chest?
I'm going to say this first. I reached in for you. You know that I endured some health issues in October.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still
nice and deep. Put your finger in the middle. Wrap your hands around. Put your hand here, and then try to just make sure your mouth, we can hear you. and
I get very triggered because it is as a result of, I also that contributed to the pain today is this bizarre earache, or both ears now, that just wouldn't, I mean, they never found an ear infection, but this pain and the loud whistling just doesn't cease. It gets worse at work, but
Okay.
it's a little nutty.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's any answers from spirit.
Okay. So as you're holding that point, I want you to realize we start off with a 7. Has it decided to want it to come down yet? And it should.
Yeah, it's
Okay. Now notice what you
it's not
did.
going, it's just way higher. It's not going higher.
Okay. Now, what's important to understand is that when I say what did we do towards ourselves, was that instead of looking out and blaming, what did we do towards ourselves? Okay, we turned it inward. So in a way, there's a part of you that feels like you have to self-punish to some degree. Okay.
Okay.
Now, how our heart, because you're holding the heart point, and this is, oh, no, see, he's spirit. I'm going to go into the energetic pattern, but before we go into that, wow. Did you have forlorn, which is that pity, that sadness, that grief? Hold on. Amy, oh, she's not here, so I'll just look it up.
Here.
Oh, I can't see you. Okay, I can't see you. So look up forlorn and then give us that's,
Okay.
that's a new thing Zoom's done. All right. It's a talking from the heavens because I can't see this in my screen. She's like, nowhere to be seen. Okay. Rest your hands. I know, because now feel how did it create more tension doing that? Okay. What do you have occipital pain right now?
No.
Okay.
I
Whistling?
did earlier.
Okay. What time?
Around 11 to 7, which is actually my work hours.
The whole time.
Hmm?
So it is related to work. So now the question is, so you said you work with patients, with people?
I've got an optometrist office with 3 doctors.
Okay, so are you supposed to be? Okay, you are. What is it? Okay, so yeah, because we're going, they're showing me towards yourself. They're showing me that there was a great, so when the incident happened, you had to talk to them or tell them, yeah, I can't come into work. I can't. How did you really think they were going to think about you and what it was that, caused it? Do you see what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I was apprehensive.
Okay. Now, interestingly enough, was there a part of you that was afraid you were going to hear something from these people?
I was afraid I was going to be judged, of course. Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Now, understand that because of that, toward yourself, so the incident, we're not going to say what it is, but the incident, did you think you could prevent it? Did you think other people think the issue that it was wrong, bad, or evil? You know what I mean? How people have judgment about a sickness and disease.
I judge myself heavily. myself heavily.
That's what I want. Okay. Now, why would you?
I judge myself heavily because I quote unquote could have prevented it in my head, right?
There you go. That's what I wanted. Okay. See, this makes sense. Now, guess where they're going to have you heal this? L1D, right where we were.
Okay.
Now, L1D, fear of your own judgment, fear of their judgment. So it becomes this, like, how people inappropriate laugh at the wrong time. Like, let's go to a funeral and laugh our ass off. Oh, you do that.
Yeah.
Okay, no wonder they're still in the heart and they use that example.
I get nervous and so I laugh.
Okay, now notice that is okay. I'm going to look at that. What age? They said at 5 years old. So at 5 years old is when this came about. When you judged yourself at the time of the incident, what was the root cause? 5 years old. So we're looking at a 5-year-old. Your 5-year-old self said, didn't know what to do with criticism. I didn't know what to do with it. And therefore, towards myself, I turned towards myself. And the first thing I did towards myself was that I made the indecision of fear of judgment. You're going to do all that. Now we're almost out of time, and I gave you a couple extra minutes, but make sure you write it down. Again, if you're not sure how to do this, you know how to make an appointment with me. But at the same time, you can do this, Kevin. Again, measure it. Okay, 0 through 10. Oh my God, yeah.
Ish.
A what?
About 50.
All right, let's start about 50. See, well, actually, probably a little bit before that, because it was 8 minutes long. Maybe in the 40s, 8s, 47s.
47, 48.
Okay, so when you go to look at this, make sure you get the words. Feel how you had to judge yourself first. And the reason why is again, what your 5-year-old's, what the energy was coming at you, and it was very lofty and it hurt. Okay, that you decided that you needed to blame yourself. So you haven't gotten to that stage of forgiveness yet toward yourself. The 5-year-old needs to forgive. The adult you're like, yeah, you're a little monkish self, you know, but it's the 5-year-old in this lifetime that's like going, and it's like, so it doesn't want to hear. The ears alone doesn't want to hear. It's like, I can't hear the criticism. I don't want to hear the criticism. So when you go to work, you have all that time and you're doing this, they keep showing me the inhale. They keep showing me that the ears is like selective hearing. I swear that's what my ex would do. If the kids talk, they're basically, oh, perfect. Guess what? L1D for that. So you're going to add that one person to the list of what you're going to focus on. And you're going to focus on, for you, you need to go and put like, does it matter either side? Ah, yes, it does. Again, this is a big one. Try to heal it yourself, but come to me if you want.
Of course.
The hearing. So when you're holding L1D, you're going to listen through your ears. And I think Spirit, thank you, Spirit, with grace and ease, will bring all of that important stuff up for you to hear. And there are filters, because the filters in this case is that I think one of your abilities, when you're stressed, your hearing is at the max. You're going to switch to your eyes to the right, middle right. That's how you reconstruct it, because there's a part of you that goes over in your head about what they might say. That's that RTJP, the right temporal junction parietal lobe, where you think what they think. So there's that little kid inside of you going, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. And as it's reconstructing with Legos, not the actual truth, but borrowed truth from the past. And oh my God, you were looking at the movies saying it's happening now, even though it's not really happening now.
Right.
Is like bitterness, you know, which is that anger and that disappointment. And, you know, and because you're doing it to yourself, it is going to feel like this whole area is like you got no neck. Because why would you want to stick it out? You wouldn't want to stick it out.
That's how I've been waking up again.
Okay, I do that at night. I know that very well. So you have to learn how to, like, for instance, okay, so if you're like this, you need to learn to put your shoulders up, roll them back and down, and then you need to put your head back, okay? So it's alignment. But the exercise for that neck to help stretch the energy, besides rubbing here, is that you put your chin to your chest and then you push back. And so you create a double chin. Yeah, this is not pretty for the camera, but I don't care. So, you know, and then you hold for 5 seconds, or the count of 5, slow count. Then you release, and then you make sure you're in position, and you do it again. Now, when you're checking,
I know this exercise.
Oh, good, because that's what I need you to do. Now, you're going to add two more, or one more, maybe, whatever. You're going to just, now, once you get it lined up, you don't have to have your chin tucked or anything, but you just got it lined up. You're going to place it, and you're going to slightly push. So you're doing isometrics, okay? And just slightly push, count of 5, let go. And you're going to come over here and do the same thing, because you need to make sure not only are you going to be fixing this, but you're also going to help these sternocleidomastoids. Now, I'm going to ask you one question. When you turn your head, can you do it okay?
Well, it depends on the day, because I've got, oh my God, this is fucking crazy. I've got degenerative disc disease.
Okay, take some, entertainment purposes only, use some joint formula. that has to do with the chondroitin as well as the glucosamine, because that'll help take off any. I know that's what I just saw in the past life for you. You're like, yeah, I was like headless Kevin.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
You know, hey, the joke of, you know that joke, nearly headless Nick, and how can you be nearly headless? Well, that's what happened to you, is that they chopped and didn't quite get all the. So you're always putting your head back on. But anyway, this is what this is. Make sure you do both sides and do 5. The reason I asked you about your neck, yeah, like you need to see my bra. What I'm trying to show you is the collarbone. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, all along there, on top of that ridge, this are called the scalenes, which are these, muscles down the neck. You can touch it. Like if it hurts, stay there, but notice that you're going to turn your head, counts of 10 with your breath. Because you need it like 30 seconds or more for the muscle not to think, oh, this is just a particular, behavior. No,
things just popped in my head.
I know. I saw them too. I think I was right there with you on a couple of them. But anyway, you are blessing.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Now I got to figure out how to get you out of here so you can go. Bye. Well, that was wonderful. That was great. That was wonderful. Yes, he got longer than 8 minutes, but you know what? That's what you can win. So it might be that expend a lot of energy that I needed to get a little treat there.
A piece of chocolate.
My husband's watching. If you see a little hand creep through the door, does he want some? He's adorable. So anyway, there was a lot of energy I just expended there. How? Because not only did I live in Australia. I love that. South Australia. I love Australia. I think it's because I love the man I'm with.
Yeah, that could very well be.
I adore that man. All righty, getting back to this. Now, double check that nobody else has paid, and then that's fine. Is there any more 1 minute reads?
Julie Noel.
Julie.
I hope you both are doing well and hope lovely things are happening in your lives. I was wondering if I could have a free 1 minute read, please.
Okay.
Thanks and lots of love.
Okay, so one of the things about this is not just your normal read. This is about the energy read. And I feel like there's a lot of stress that you may carry trying to develop and to grow and to take that next step in your life. And it feels counterproductive is the word I'm hearing. This V part, so you feel the bones, okay? Then it dips down into a hollow, yes? You're going to take, I end up using 4. You can use 3, 4, whatever. My fingers are broken. They like to travel together now, so that's fine. You're going to just put it here. See, you can see the little marks. Take this hand, and you're going to touch the temples. This is going to help balance out a stress, your thyroid, and you just stay there for a couple minutes, nice and breathe in and out. And you want to, so if the belly button was right, if your belly button was right here, you're going to put your hands next to it, or you can lay your hands right on top of it. I swear to God, I thought my husband was going to creep his little hand around. I felt like he was present just for a moment. I'm thinking, I'm ready to give you some. So, honey, if you do hear me, if you want some. Anyway, who's next?
Kiki.
Miss Perkins. All of a sudden, this energy just happens to. When I look at your legs, they said that is that an important thing at this time? Yes and no. The skin is the end result of a particular story, and it's a resonating broadcast that you did to yourself. So you turn it in on yourself. And as you did, they said that you are wiped out trying to cope with this every single freaking day to the point where it has affected the way the body moves. So I'm going to tell you that the gallbladder needs some love. Yeah, it does. So now I'm just going to check. It is, are we going to trace the meridian? No. Flush it? No. We're going to find certain points. And they said there are 2 particular points. No, just the one down there and the one on the side of the foot. Again, you can't touch these points. Is there any way to help those without touching? And they said, yes, you can take care of the broadcast message. And that is L1D. So I would hold left wrist. Think of coping and handling, dealing with the daily stresses of life, or the going back. They said a very specific time that you felt this. Was that when you on your legs, or if you have a light that you can use, however, or a bobble wand, however, pendulum. Okay. It's not on here. How can I show it? Good thing I wore pants today. Okay, so we're going to take the foot. See my mark? That's the gallbladder right there. It's right there in the hole. Love you. He gave me my vitamin C. That's so adorable. Anyway, oh yeah, the foot. So you're going to find that little hole here. It's at the pinky. It's a little hole. But in your mind, you can't really rub it. You can do that, change it out. Now, you have to understand the second toe. You're going to follow it up, and it's right here. So the interesting part is the liver is over here. The gallbladder, or the bladder one, is right there, and the stomach's here. You're right here. Just kind of look for.
She does have a bobble wand, Brenda.
Oh, good. So you're going to take the bobble wand, and you're just going to, then all of a sudden let it go. Like, see, it's going clock or counterclockwise for me. Now I'm working on you from a distance. I know better here. Oh, that's interesting. So let it go in the direction it needs. Now it's going. Okay, we have gallbladder points on the back. You can't see it. So you go, you know what? You finish it out, make sure the pendulum stops, and then, but looking at the points, you can see where it is, and your mind, and then the pendulum, because it's about the communication between the pendulum and you will actually begin to, the bobble wand, when you begin to use them, you will actually begin to feel like it's pulling. I mean, you literally begin to feel how the energies are and how your body's innate is telling you, oh, let's do this. Let's go this way. Let's, blah, blah, blah. Okay. We appreciate you, very much. Now,
I lied. Just came in. Cheyenne Brown. She's interested. Let's see. I was interested in receiving a 1-minute reading, please.
So now I have to look at your body because we have hormones and all this net. So I got to bypass that. So now I have to look to see if that inside the womb, is there anything inside the womb? Okay, that's a bolt. Is there a fetus or anything inside the womb? There's a lot of fear around it. Okay, now what's interesting is there is such a strong signal. There's a part of you that wants it. Another part of you has old school thinking that you shouldn't have it. And so you've got a counteraction of energy there. That counteraction of energy has a variables, but there's a part of you that's kind of already chosen without you realizing. And it says, my pendulum says, yes, there is a life force of energy in there. If I ask the cards, they said you have to learn to trust. You have to look for the signs and be okay to have abundance. So if this is a problem for you, then understand if there's conflict, or if this do you need to be pregnant? There's a party that needs a panic. You got a panic running around. So you have to take care of these energies, okay? Yourself. Okay, Amy, anything else? Okay, if there's anybody in the room, anybody's that would check the rooms if there's, and you can share it. If you feel there is something that you want me to teach you down the road that you would like to learn, my biggest thing that I want to help you learn is to wake up from ego. I want you to wake up from this matrix. I want you to wake up in such a way that you don't have to be living in the pending doom, living in that fear, and just being in that space. Okay, you can learn how to get out of it. You just have to pay attention. Are you contradicting yourself? Okay. Again,
Betty would like one.
awesome. I'm just trying to, I'm going to say this nicely. You, there's a part of you that kind of somewhere asked, like the story for me was I was in depression and I said, oh my God, Spirit, just help me. I just cannot do this every day. I don't know how to wake up and just be happy. I just need something to feel like I can be alive. And God bless it. I heard Spirit say, oh, well, you're pregnant. I'm like, what? And so part of your body is trying to say something. It's trying to say that it's needed for a particular outcome. So you pay attention to your thinking. Okay. Now, at the same time, now I usually don't like to say yes or no, because if we don't want the power of suggestion. But again, I look at the all change out the frequency, believe it or not. I have watched it happen. So if you don't want to be pregnant, you can cause your body to choose not to have it. If you and the reason I said the old school thinking was because before I got married, I was, you date and have sex before you. And even though I was told by the doctor I couldn't have kids, there was a part of me that was afraid that I'm going to have kids. And I'm thinking, well, why am I afraid? I'm a grown ass woman in my almost my 30s, and why would I? And it was the bombardment of you can't get just so you know that to help support people to stay in worry, but I feel like that you have to be in worry. I really hope that you're listening, because if that's how you're supposed to be staying in worry, and I asked Spirit, at the same time, the energy is all pointing to the fact is that your body is saying things that are there. So Betty, and then we'll go to Gwendolyn. Now, it's interesting, Betty. There's a part of you that says contemplating. You're going to learn to be upgrading your contemplating. We all contemplate. If you're contemplating an ego and you're used to planning, moving forward, doing all these things, you will then know how to control that and within the matrix. But you have been healing and growing and discovering, what is thinking to get the answers kind of needs to be upgraded now, because you are moving into the space of, I know who I am more. I know I don't want this. You're setting your GPS to joy. You're moving forward. And what does that mean? It means you have to start trusting Spirit to give you more of the answer and how to create your day. And so you just have to begin to watch. What am I doing? Which one am I using to get to where I'm going? So you're starting to fine tune. Gwendolyn, that's what you want. And we will see what comes to pass.
And then Vicki sent an email.
Awesome. Vicki. None of these cards are worth looking. The word shame. Address shame. Address the shame. And it's like, now that he's there, he's like, he can see how you're using shame against yourself, and how shame was used to get to you to behave, and just look at the kaleidoscope of shame. And what I would leave 2 cents, $2, 2 somethings, something money, something value, something, maybe it's the value. It's like he shows me a dresser, he shows me something, he says there's something of value, he leaves you. So whether you can see it or not, now is this from the other side, or this is something he did when he was here? He did something to show you, you know, just little things. He did the little things. He says, it counteracts part of my energy of who I was. When they start to do life review, it makes it very much an interesting story, because the life review is to see not only what they've done, but they get to feel how you felt from your angle. They get to look through all that from what I can see. And whoo, I'm sorry. That's yeah. And now Vicky, did she say anything particular?
No, she said, I'll take one.
Ah, okay. So Vicky, your headspace is doing a lot better. What happens is that your mind doesn't shut off. Okay, you're like, but I rubbed the heart point. So just in case, begin to become aware if there's energy stuck on one side of your head versus the other side. So last night they showed me that someone has too much energy in the right part of their hemisphere, and they can't get the brains to switch over. Every 90 minutes your brain switches over. But yours wasn't switching. So, well, yours, oh, that's why I had it for her. Well, you're welcome. So I'm like, okay, so I'm looking, and I started to have to notice how I knew it was in that hemisphere, and I just kind of drew it down and just shared it in my left side. And then I did my best to balance my brain inside my mind, okay? But at the same time, I had caught myself grabbing 2 hemispheres with the intention of just feeling like there's a figure 8 between it. So I was looking for the pulse. So I felt nothing, then all of a sudden I felt it in one side, and it's like, oh, that's where all of the excess energy is. And then as I kind of imagined that energy was shifting over to the figure 8s, then all of a sudden I started to feel the pulse on the other side. They were both erratic, but then I stayed there a little longer, and then all of a sudden I got this harmony. You could feel the pulse balanced in both hands. So that's for you. Now, I think that's a compliment that people fall asleep when they watch, because it's, you know, as a hypnosis, as a meditation speaker, it's a good thing to hear. It really is. But as a live, you know, do I want to put my audience to sleep? It depends on what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay. You guys are great. Anybody else?
Me.
You. Now, so Cheyenne must have left immediately afterwards, so she didn't hear that last part. That's okay. Other people needed to hear it. Now, Amy, I'm a little shy of giving you a reading personally as a Brenda, so I have to really, I'm going to be checking out. And so as Spirit just comes in and says, okay, pay attention to the instability energy within the physical body and with the environment, with the people. Because what happens is that it's a habit. It's a habit that you're supposed to look at about how you feel deprived, and then you have all this backup proof. And then you have all of this that people are depriving me of their love, and there you have all this proof. And then you have all of these old things inside your body that says now you have to be deprived of, and that's why you got physically sick. Your body is showing being deprived. And so they're saying, knowing that, they want you to address it. So they're saying R2D. Because what you did toward yourself was that if I deprive myself first, I won't have to feel my mother feeling that she's depriving me because of her pain. I won't have to see people deprive me. But the moment that they do, which is the filter, even if they haven't, you know that you're going to cling on tighter, and you're going to do like a worship act, then do wait for them to hurt you, because that's what the little girl said, was that I know you're going to hurt me. And, you know, there was just this constant proof. So when you were inside the womb, you're like, I'm giving my all. And then all of a sudden, oh, you're going to hurt me. So you have this pattern that goes on. So there's a part of you that has this, they say it has a lot to do with the word deprived and how you're looking at it. Again, it's very important that R2D be addressed, and that you notice that you have turned the mirror onto yourself, that you have to see it, know it, be it, feel it. And eventually, so when you're healing, kind of look at yourself. Not only do you feel like people are doing this to you, but go inside yourself. And the snapshot is you saw, you're sitting here, you're looking at yourself, seeing that you're being deprived, and you actually can hear it. You're like, but I don't like that feeling. It hurts. I don't want it. And they're saying that's the part of the pain that you have to heal, is that's that acceptance, that belief, and you gave it your willpower. Ever since then, you've been trying to make sure that stops, but you need to go in and heal it from that direction. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And anybody else? Betty says, yes, my husband let me sleep once and kept you playing. He said I was so peaceful he couldn't turn you off on me. Aw. No, that's nice. It's nice.
Marianne Coughlin.
Marianne.
She says, I had a friend commit suicide last week. I feel him around me a lot. Was there any way I could have seen this coming?
That's a very good question, because the thing is that what if you weren't supposed to? Every soul has more than one exit door. Every soul understands what they need to do, not humans. The problem here about having and being a human is that we, it's the pain we feel when that connection is lost. Touch it. So whether or not you could have prevented it, let me tell you what this story. So I'm taking care of my mother. And as a human, a lot of times we will just say, oh, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Now, there's not enough toilet paper to clean that up. I don't care if there's a TP crisis or not. There's still not enough toilet paper to clean all that shit up that we do to ourselves. Now, spirit will shut you off, turn you away, do interesting things. So the process was, okay, we had to go to the doctors that day. We had to see what medication she needs. We'd count them. So I quickly okay, that's correct. And so I didn't do it that night. Now, that's a shoulda, coulda, woulda. Okay? But spirit already knew what her soul wanted, and I couldn't butt in. I wasn't supposed to. I have to let it flow. So I literally feel like everything was shut off for me. I normally do these checks. I normally do this and that. And it was like I hadn't done them, but I wasn't supposed to. So that morning, I usually have a different routine, and it was like that. And so when I woke up that morning, I heard, don't be shocked. And I'm like, breathe, Brenda. What the hell did they just say to me? I've done this, I haven't done that. I'm looking at the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and I ran into the bedroom. And yes, she was doing labor breathing, but she was already dead. As I'm talking to them on the phone, they already knew. And they said, we are going to send out a hearse. A rush. Oh my God, she forgot her Lasix pill. She blew up like a balloon. Oh, and then I looked and there was nothing in the package. What could I have done? Oh my God. Oh, and then all of a sudden, instantly, I could have ran over to the guy I was taking care of, my landlord. He takes the same pill. I could have just grabbed one and put it in, would have been too late, but I could have fixed that. That was the issue the night before. And then it was, I could call up my pharmacy buddy and call him up because he's a pharmacist and say, and then so I did. I called him up and he says, well, I give you 4 and then you get to your doctor. I says, yes, okay. So, but it was all too late. And as I'm racing around doing all these things, Spirit just said, you weren't supposed to be interfering. Come back. And so it's like, okay. And trying to keep recentering that was hard because then I had to deal with my sister and had to do with the hearse being there. And I had to not a single soul to talk to. So I actually walked 2 houses down and talked to this guy that I never met before. But Spirit told me to. And he opened the door and he said, yeah, I've seen you around. The next thing you know, he's helping me. I'm thinking, that's the oddest thing I've ever done. But I also know how to trust Spirit. You couldn't prevent it because you weren't supposed to. Okay. Being that said, I saw how my boyfriend was going to die, what was going to lead up to that accident, even to the word I said, and to the guy that I was talking to, what he said. And I saw the whole thing, heard the cops' cars, all of it. Matter of a split second, I saw it. And then as I came out of it, it was already playing out. And I'm thinking, what? And I argued for years. Why the hell did you have me see that if there's nothing I can do? I mean, this is my fresh spirit self just getting pissed off and being mad. And spirit says, but this isn't the first. When you've seen people die, you knew they were going to die before they died. I go, I know, but why? I don't. And it was my arrogance of my human self that could not get over the hurdle of wanting to accept the fact that the spirit speaks different than the way we do. Okay. Now, I feel I just got a sticky note. Sometimes when they die and they take their life, sometimes they can go through a limbo, and sometimes they can go immediately across. It's beautiful. It's all conscious as one. But sometimes that there's also to do with reviews, and energetically it's about whether or not I can connect in or other people can connect in, or I mean, my mother had me have a sign. The sign was working hard, and she had a pitchfork chopping rocks up, and I laughed because it was like, really, Mom? Okay. And then I started finding that people would leave sticky notes. Now, serious? All of these decks of cards, and I can't see the one I want. All right, Spirit, make it happen. And they're saying I passed it a couple times. Well, why can't I see it? Because I can't see it. I had to leave because that was what I did. We can't sometimes even fathom, why the hell would a soul sign up for that? Have you ever watched Groundhog? That's what our soul does. And he's saying that it's beautiful where I'm at. And so he's, again, he can't come. He's got tears cleanse the soul. He says, you do good. And another thing is that there is no such thing as death. And that's what you're crying about, And I'm going to tell you, he says, show her the oh my gods. Okay, so this here is where you are going to hold. And it's a simple tool, but it's an amazing tool. It can help the body in such a way to help you recover from very traumatic, hysterical, erratic, anxiety-ridden issues and stories. Yes, Diana, you may have one. Now, she said, here's a card. Now, I'm going to give you a card. Do you want that deck or any other deck? Does it matter? Because that's the thing. Oh, somebody. Diana, you want her to have the butterflies. Gotcha. Butterflies. And it says that you're just having a little bit trusting. And because you're having a little bit of trust, what I want you to do is I want you to, if you can't do it, just tell me and I'll send it to you. But you're going to start to trace your stomach meridian. And if you could just start rubbing because inside is 0.1 here, but just on top is the important point of the stomach. She says she's good, but what they're trying to show me is that you feel ungrounded and taking that next step of moving forward. So then you go down and around. Now watch Don Eden draw it, and you can really see it. Come down, and you're going to come across the thighs. Now, you're going to notice that it's going to go not down, but a little bit out. So now you're going to get to this point, and when you get to this one, rub here. And then when you get down here, or the middle, second toe there, you're going to tap on the inside near the big toe, right at the edge of the thing. So you can do it really fast. Don't worry if you're not exact. And you can help that body connect with Mother Earth, and Mother Earth and you can start to help you move and find that place that you're looking for, because they're actually saying that there's an energy. that's what she says my knee and hips are aching. And I think that's what they want you to do, is to be able to get that connection to Mother Earth so you can feel her pulse, to get you feel better. And they said says that you know how to ask, you know how to do the reconnection energy, and you can do this, you know how to do karate, and because you're going to find that daring woman. But before you can do that, you have to get out of that space that's causing you to have congestion. Now, let me just explain something to you people. You do all this healing and your life still seems like shit. You have to sometimes force yourself to move in the next direction. You have to create closure to the ego shit that happens. And if you don't create that closure, then you're not going to be able to leave that space. What do I need to do to move? Okay, if I have to create closure, I have to say goodbye to people. I have to stop doing a particular habit. If I think I'm supposed to be a healer in this direction, I even closed my ability to be a healer. It says I close that down. I'm just going to close it down, and I'm going to reinvent myself. And I did. I went from hands-on healing to more into the brain, quantum physics field, deeper into those because I was already into those. and to learn deeper into talking with spirit about the meridians. But it wasn't about the hands-on healing. Yes, I have a healing table, but I'm not supposed to use it. I used to do Brenda specials and all this other stuff, and spirit will just come in and take care of it. Now it's going to be integrated in the future, but right now that's not who I am. So I had to reset. That's what the planet's doing, is I had to reset from this and decided, oh, that's not supposed to be part of my world. I had to be okay to close my classes. And I said, thank you, Spirit, for taking care of this happening. And then I had to do more closure of my business, totally just be done, let it go. And then I had to be okay to let go of my ex. Well, at the time, he was my husband, but it was taking and changing and doing the cord switchings with people. And that included my kids. Helps you develop that next part of you when you're moving forward. So when you're closing your house and all this other stuff, you're saying goodbye to it and you're gathering your energies. And you have to do a cord switch with the house, you do so, with the people. And you have to have closure. I need clothes and what gathered energies. And then I looked to the future and it was, whoa, then I got to see the energy cords. I got to see what direction. I got to see what I'm supposed to be learning. And they will lay it all out for you if you learn to communicate. Okay? And it's a report. It's not that, I'm going to take it in and say, shut the fuck up. I'm going to take it in, and they're all suggestions. And then I'm going to make sure there is a balance of giving and receiving so that this communication becomes stronger. And then when Spirit told me, you're going to be leaving your husband. What? It took a couple communication with love. And it's a giving and taking, not instead of just, I have to live his way, that's it. And then it was, okay, energetically, you're going to move from this spot. I thought it was to California, from Michigan to California. No, go a little further. Michigan to Hawaii. No, go a little further. And, you spin in the globe and you're like, Australia? I don't even get on the plane. What are you talking about? Oh, hell no. So, of course, my resistance, and it was persistence. And then I just couldn't try to ignore it. And the next thing you know is like, okay, we're going to bring the man in your view. You're going to do this in your view, and you're going to do this. It is like, okay. And then when I finally got my ego out of the way, okay, healed the little grumbling bitch that was there. Well, I don't like, the whining and the crying. I realized I felt like I was deprived. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm doing with little. So I had to heal my little self. And then when I did that, all of a sudden everything just kind of boop, got brighter, showed me everything started to turn around to the news. Like, here's the kaleidoscope of what it's supposed to look like. This is meant to be, but I couldn't get there unless I started to go through that whole journey. But I would have never got here if I did not begin to wake up in spirit to be able to understand that as spiritual human, using my spiritual mindset, heal all my hills, return to heaven, allow myself to get this coherence through my body. And that's why I know you can do it too, because the whole point of me doing it was not just for me to wake up and ascend. I could have done that. But I also signed up to be a light warrior at this particular time and not forget how I got here. So I was like, I got it. Okay. Yeah, I can see the energy cords. Yep. I love seeing them. It's hard to explain to people sometimes what those are, because there's different forms of energy cords, and create one. This is why you have to streamline when you're doing a body scan, because we create one to create reality. There's too many. Okay, so you have to narrow it down with communicating with. Then that is a set of codes. Again, you have to learn how to translate it. You can't just jump in and say, I'm just going to do this, because without the communication, you're going to be able to only do half a job, if that makes sense. Now, I'm just double checking. Anybody in the rooms that still want a reading, it's up for you. It's up for grabs. Just say so, and I'll give you one. And Amy, are there any more emails?
Lenny. She's asking if she healed the blocks.
Okay. You can look and heal in a certain way, but you need to really get into the ego record. But they're saying that you really got to know those ego patterns, because those are the things that are supposed to be closed. And the only way to really jump into it, like I teach my students, is that you begin to do how to see this. And not only see it, but then you have to like call your energy back. You have to change your patterns. You have to take a certain action. And you have to work with that spirit and coherence, so that all of a sudden when you feel that, words will come out of your mouth differently. People will begin to show up to you differently. If those people in your space are not showing up any better, that means you haven't really changed the program. If you don't see end results, then you have not gone in and healed those particular things. When you heal, one of the biggest things you're going to see is out goes your energy cord, and so that your inner world creates your outer world. And if these people are continuously showing up the pattern, it's not them. Okay, you have to understand. You have to understand. Do you have a filter? Why is it that you're still giving, you're still accepting, still giving your willpower away, and still believing it? And it's that power of the belief. It's the way the brain predicts, and the way the body says, hey, you have to be this kind of a program, this kind of behavior. And do you second guess yourself? Then that definitely is the ego trying outside change, and it's like, what the? I have to go in and say, show me what it is I need to heal. Hence, that's why a lot of people come to me. But you really got to go in a little deeper. And my God, hell, we have over-identified with it that we lose ourselves into the story, and then the story begins to own us, because we have to take a certain amount of our energy to see this movie, to be in the movie, and we don't know how to really claim our power back to change, so we can actually go, oh my God, I'm going to come out of it. And that's why we measure things and heal them. So keep going. If I feel like they're still there, at the same time you're not seeing things, then you have to look self. You have to look toward yourself. Self, what the hell are you doing that I don't know you're doing? Okay. And that can be tricky, but at the same time, that's where you got to hear. Do I have flippant talking? Do I joke and I don't know it hurts? Do I do this? Do I do that? Being that you are a healer and that you have a child, you may be having to look at what kind of mentorship are you doing, because your daughter is doing mirror consciousness, not just with you, but with everybody. But what are you teaching her? What are you teaching her how to handle the emotions, or what is she seeing? Maybe that's what you need to ask. Kevin, that time is going to be coming soon. What would you like to learn from me, Kevin? That's what I'd like to know. Okay, how would you like to see how the ego functions? Well, I am not that, because most of the time we look at the ego and say egotistical people are arrogant. Through enlightenment language, it is all about this understanding that an asshole sometimes is a good to have, because the thing is that the reason we say that is because, one, when you're first born and being developed, you're an asshole first, physically. Then you get to develop the rest of you. But when you don't even know you trip somebody, you have to be the asshole in life. So there's a lot of times the soul just raises your hand, because that's the way the two souls meet. Well, I have to learn about sadness. Okay, well, I have to learn about rejecting people. So I will reject, and then you can feel the same. Yeah, yeah. How's it going to look? We don't know. Surprise me. Okay. And then all of a sudden it's like, the person standing there, and then it becomes this, it depends on how dramatic you guys need to see it. Because when you begin to wake up, you can learn how to listen to it with a whisper, to maybe a slap in the face, a kick in the pants, a bee sting. Those flying bitch slaps are those ones like, God damn it, how many times? But that's how we are used to. Like sometimes as a kid, if you're used to being beaten, you're kind of setting it up that I need to see through that a whisper, which can be fun. And it could be a joke. It could be, you're like, holy shit, yeah. But the feelings of when you have to go through it, it's the experience of oh my God, the great depths of that experience, the biggest ass freaking ouch. That's the hook. It's time to take the fish hook out. It's time to, stop being reeled into that particular story over and over. It's time to say, I'm canceling my subscription. I want my energy back. And that's what healing tools do. It helps you resolve to evolve. Okay. Anybody else? Hey, Amber, how you doing? Would you like a card, sweetheart, before I go? La, 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 la. I feel like Amber needs some butterflies.
No more emails.
Okay. Amber needs a butterfly. I suppose I'd be better off answering that question after hardcore rewire. Yeah. But you guys really do get a choice of how to wake up. I never thought there was either until they started to show me again and again and again. Have you figured it out yet? You can do it on a whisper, and I'm like, I think I'm getting there. Amber. Oh, so let me see here. Is she not... what do you feel like that's hooked into the relationship of if you give respect, you'll get it back. If you show kindness, you get it back. But what happens is that if you can create karma, this is in reverse, but it says giving back. You can create a certain amount of karma imbalancing if you have those those old beliefs do not really hold water, because your energy exchange is that you don't know how to balance it to get yours back. So that was a huge one for me, because it's like I give respect for myself. So then the mirror came back in a different way, and it was like learning how to self-care and have self-respect to take me to the next step. Hey, Jennifer, how are you? Hopefully you're good. You need anything? Because, hey. But I do want people to know that, yes, if you pay for a reading, you get this healing stuff. We have what's called a draw. So every time you pay, so like Kevin today paid for, he came on and he paid, then like his name in the box. Now, again, if you don't want to come on and you don't want your voice or you don't want your face, you can still do it through, back and forth here. That's what you get to. We have 15 minutes with me, and it's a $45 value. Just to let you know, the only way you get your name is if you pay for a reading as such. Amber says, yes, I feel like it has to do with love. I give and give, but I don't know how to receive love. See, and again, that's great. Now, if you give and you give too much, do you feel uncomfortable when somebody, stranger, somebody pulled up and says, do you need help with that? And she's going to say, no, I got it. Instead, she's like, Spirit says, take it. And so she turns, she goes, yes, I would. And he goes, good. And he happened to be a mechanic, and he happened to know lots of things. And Spirit delivered her, this person, to help her. And she felt, wow, I actually let somebody in my space. So Spirit can, rock somebody up at the door. I mean, in your mailbox, radio, you'd be surprised. Okay, Amber, she says, yes, it's very uncomfortable. That is what you would address. If you want to see the outer world change and you do everything through ego to make it change and it don't work, you have to address the thing that your inner world creates your outer world. Down to zero. Use EFT. You can do this, okay? You don't know where to find it? You go to my site, and then you go And you can look under healing tools and you see EFT, emotional freedom technique. Even simple meridian tapping for you would be good too. I mean, so you don't have to go through the whole aspect. Amber says, you're amazing. I love you so much. I love you too, Amber. You guys are great. Double checking everything. And I'm going to go and make some classes. So that's going to be fun. I'm getting there. It's more, whittling it down because when spirit's involved, yes, I can hammer them out. But when spirit kind of leaves me feeling like I'm dangling in the wind, I feel like a dingleberry that's like, wait, I'm drying out. I can't figure out how to get an idea or hang on to anything. I'm going to fall. So anyway, don't you just love this analogy sometimes? I'm just like, seriously. But we're all good. Remember, she's just in a reset. She's just in a reset, and she already knows how to take care of herself. And I mean, everybody that runs around with doomsday crying or have to inform about all of this, it's about covering their butt. It's about to help preparing you for the end. But the energy is still in play, which happened to start yesterday. And I made a video and I didn't put it up, but it makes me wonder if I should still, because the energy is still saying, that's it. Once you use it up, that's it. That's not true. Because now they're putting out there that you should go out. Now you should panic buy. You should go out and spend and buy all your groceries for the week instead of going down every day. Because they want to do the social interaction. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. Well, we don't have to be damned. All you can do is trust spirit and say, what should I do? Now, I'm used to buying stuff for 7 days, sometimes up to 14 days, because I don't like to leave the house. So I'll go and it's not that I have phobias, it's just that I just prefer not to be around energy, and because people don't know that they throw their shit out there and people trip over it. If you find it, if you don't, that's fine, but I need yeast. So I can just make some loaves of bread, go back to old school of taking care of ourselves. And he says, it's so scary. You walk in and it's like, they say they are stacked. Now they're closing early just so that they can stock the shelves before the next morning. And it's like, wow, okay. Oh, a lot of you have a lot of really interesting about how our old bones and the way the blood flows. And we're not, if we were to eliminate meat and just start understanding to add certain proteins, how that actually will begin to, these people became weightlifters and other stuff, and their edge that they had on anybody else was because they quit eating meat. That's eggs and milk and meat all together. Because they needed that edge, and then they felt better, and their recovery time was incredibly faster. So this is something that I was thinking of looking further more into myself, because slowly but surely you find the values of food and the values of all of this. Oh, Amber says Mother Earth is healing right now, so that's what she's telling me to do too. Oh yeah. And at the beginning of the show, it was Mother Earth says, fine, clean up your room, kids, clean up your mess, clean it up. If you don't do it, I'm going to, and the joke was, as a mother, we say, we're going to come in, we're going to black bag it. We're going to take what's valuable to you. If you don't really find the value, then it's just going to be taken away. And sometimes I would throw it away or re-gift it and give it back. Now, black bagging is not the word that we need to say on this planet right now. It is very scary. But understanding that Mother says, okay, I'm going to keep you busy over here. It's like, it reminds me of the somebody says, yeah, my kids are helping, and they stack the dishwasher. But if I keep them busy over here, I can restack it. And that's what she's doing. She's saying, if you just go over here and you do this, then I'll just fix this. And then all of a sudden, because you're doing this over here, you're going to find the fun and the value and all of this. And then you're going to come up with these really good new values and understanding how to do things that you wouldn't have done otherwise. I'm so glad I distracted you so we can clean up the mess, get you looking something different. Sometimes we have to keep our ego very busy so that spirit can come through. And that's kind of like, I think, what we're doing. is that we are also resetting energies around us. By not really getting together, we don't have to interact all of our and so you can help the process incredibly. Okay. You can incredibly make a big difference if you learn to help step up, receive the updates, learning to recalibrate yourself. I think the big joke for me in this last couple of weeks was, for my last couple of shows was, okay, we're updating. Windows is updating. So your perspective is going to be different. You're going to, but the volume, the voice, people aren't going to be able to hear you. You got to readjust it and change. Look into it to reset, and maybe, yes permissions, no to this, and get them to all communicate again. And I think that's kind of like what we're doing. As I set and reset myself, and not only reset but update myself, I have to connect my updating with Mother Earth and to Father Sky. I need to be able to take those old patterns and say, inner world, outer world, towards myself, towards others. And, you can really develop who you are. You have a question, Kev? I may have an answer. I had somebody ask me that. Can you answer the question? I don't know if you can. And I'm like, yeah, it depends on what it is. Nice, isn't it? But if you have a deeper question and it's going to require me to give you lots of answers for healing, then here's an appointment. But if it's just a simple question, and then they couldn't understand, and they waited. And I said, did you have your question? And they go, what? And I'm like, oh, never mind. Oh my God. Ames. Diana says, I love being myself at the moment. That's beautiful. First time in my life, I'm getting to know who I really am. Yay! Be happy about that. I love it. Kevin says, is there a class that you believe I might excel in by taking in? Yeah. Well, for me or for other people, I don't know what other people may have. Because Kevin, I know you probably would do really well with the group that I'm doing now.
You would be so much fun in class.
You'd be the only male at the point. Everybody was hand selected to a certain degree. Those that were in that divine alignment, they stayed, and those that were supposed to be for the next class, but that's still in the works. Yes, you can ask about your health, Veronica. And so, like, for instance, the one that I know would benefit everybody is, creating your life by design. But the name, I don't really know how to really name it, except for, like, Amy, what would you say, like, the class that you're doing with me? I want people to see what you look like. So get yourself dialed up for a second there. And we're going to bring you in just for a moment to chit chat. Tell me when you're ready. Give me a thumbs up.
Okay. Good enough.
All right. So she was hand selected from Spirit that said, hey, you would benefit from this. Would you like to do it? And I didn't give anybody a heads up what it was, except for it was Living by Design. I can't remember exactly what the name of it is, but were you surprised by any of the questions and the things that I asked?
Oh, yeah.
And when you looked at it, did you find any value until they started all making sense together? Because when you did them individually, could you find some value in some of them?
I found the value in them, but it wasn't until they all everything started meshing that's when it all
hit the fan. Yeah, and see, the thing is I can't just come out and tell you at the beginning, because then you would be then trying to expect and control it. And I wanted ego to say, hey, we're going to look at it this way. This is who I am. And we've also, one of my students, Sue, we've sat down and we discussed that if we broke these down in a 4-week course, I think maybe I can. But there's a lot of information there. But it's just simply beginning to discover who am I and who I am not, in ego versus spirit. And you begin to not only ask these questions, but you get to use the healing. All the stuff that you've done, Amy, would you ever want to go back to your old life?
Oh, hell no.
Why not? Because it was good. But it was good. My life's great, but yeah, Yeah. So she, everybody will come to me and my life is great, and they don't realize there's a but. It's that belief under transition. And that is where I'm helping you look at your buts. What buts do you have in life? What interruptions? What belief that is under transition that maybe you're stuck and you can't get out of, or you got up to the button, you turn right around and you go back into your old world. We want you to move forward. And that's what the movement is all about. That's what Medicine Woman Solutions about. And it's all about creating the way for you to, to be in sync. And when you're out of sync with people, it can hurt. But remember, these are programs. Mm-hmm. And you can learn to heal those. And you can get back on sync, not the old way, but learning to heal your shit so that all of a sudden, instead of trying or forcing it, it just becomes a natural process so that you know how to. The biggest slaps of all is that we're meant to talk, communicate, be together, but it's like when we're divinely out of sync, learn how to heal without me. Now, I gave him some tools, and I would chant, and I would sit there and go, heal your shit, heal your shit, heal your shit. Okay, just put your hand on your head, do some EFT, heal your shit. I mean, you could do this. And then about a year and a half later, and this happened to him twice, but a year and a half later, all of a sudden I woke up and I'm like, he healed his shit. Oh my God, it's time. He healed his shit. Oh my God. And then the divine alignment says it's ready and you can come back into an alignment. And the hardest part in this spiritual aspect is by going quiet, the ego may say, well, I don't like cold shoulders or being cut out or feeling that, the ego's way is just not talk to me. But that's not what's happening. There's nothing I could say. You would never be able to hear me because your pain would just say, bitch, please, no. This is this is that, and it's like, if I want a relationship with you, I got to be patient and wait for you to catch up. So hell no. But when I see you going off into ego and you're following this pattern and you're gone and you're not in your eyes, you're on a wave. And when you're on a wave, you're being pulled out to sea, not because you became one to the shore, where it is where your consciousness and your unconsciousness meet, so that we can have to talk to you, to come into that spiritual space. So you're finding another relationship thing. The main thing is that it's about relationships. And so you're finding different ways of how people have relationships. And you can also respect when you are doing certain relationships. And I feel like I need to do a course over just relationships, because you need to understand the 5 languages of love. You need to understand your sensory system of who you are and who they are. There's other little things about how to be not just yourself, but how to communicate with and create a dialogue with the mate, the person, your friends, coworkers, all of them in a whole new way. Yes, I like to say paradigm shifts, but how many people actually know that? When I say metaphysical classes, people are starting to catch up with those words. I'm not really there. So I got hammering away. Where did that woman write the question about her health? Did she? I think I was waiting and I don't know where it went. I said Veronica could, and then I got nothing back, didn't I?
Just may I ask about my health?
And that's it. I don't see anything else.
No.
Huh, okay.
Said it's a lot of information for 4 weeks, and Betty said it unfolds beautifully the way it rolled out in layers. And no, I'm not going back.
Good, exactly. Now, see, that's what it, I wanted to do the pilot test because I wanted to, you're pulling information, no, Spirit's just coming through, and it has a very specific way that it talks. And, how to demonstrate it, how to do things is important. Veronica says, I'm here. Did you email or did you just want to ask? All right. So this is about the healing show today. And Lori, what I feel is that, like, for instance, when your polarity is off, you're just going to throw everything off. Your physical body, you will know immediately because you're feeling good, and all of a sudden it just like takes a dump. No matter what you're doing, you're trying to correct it, heal it, adjust it, and nothing seems to make a difference, and it just keeps dumping and keep. And that's because usually it's the polarity is off. One of the things that is that you drink water. Sometimes you know, but the best and fast way for when I'm looking because your polarity is off is understand, and when that happens, your polarity goes off. And they says the best way to correct it is that you need to stop taking in other people's panic. Because when you take on other people's panic, that's what throws the polarity off. Polarity is that it's like, okay, so this is strong, and then, you know, it's the magnet in heaven and earth, zip up, and the hook up. I would do Wayne Cook at the same time. The other part that I would do is that right here, okay, it's not here in the middle, that the spleen needs a little bit of help, and that will begin to help your polarity. Now, there's a whole lot of stuff we could do to help balance it, but that can really begin to be a part of it. Veronica, you said there's another email before I get to Veronica?
Yeah. Nicole asks, she's having pain issues.
Okay, so as I'm looking at the pain, they said it has a lot to do with stuck energy. Now, do we need to use the magnets? No. Is this an alarm? The symptom. As I look at the system, where would you go first to correct it? So where is it the one that's, okay, so the spleen energy is down to a 2. This is a meridian. Okay, so it's down to a 2. We want it to 10. They said the small intestine is energy. Have you taken offense lately? What they want you to do is notice the pain that you have, put it on a scale from 0 to 10, and then, 10 being the worst, and then go here and then here. You got 2 points on the small intestine. You can rub them at the same time or separately. Get in there and rub them about 30 times, switch it over, do 30 times here. Recheck to see if the number has come down, because then you're going to go over to the gallbladder point here, one of the feet, and you are going to okay, see that red dot? That's where my finger's going. It's the bone. It's right here. So even though that's there, there's a whole gully. Okay, get in there and rub both of those. Get a good 30 times, and that will start to correct it. Again, look at the measures, look at the number, and see about the number. And then you go into the liver, and you're going to go big toe, second toe, when the bones meet, right there where the bones meet. You rub it again for another 30 times on each side. Again, measure this. Right here, where the crick, you need to get in there and then put your 3 fingers and 4. So there's 2 points, okay? It would be these 2 points here. But get in there, rub them 30 times, do each side. God, yeah. Now see, that's might be where you need to rub, is that one. And then assess your number. Now, you may be gone down, but you may have turned off the symptom, but turned on the alarm. That's a whole nother thing. You can make an appointment or pay to be on the show. So Veronica says, my right hip bothers me. And they're saying that the right hip bothers you because it's the gallbladder meridian. It's the energy that runs through that particular space. And have you dealt with injustice lately? Because somehow that energy is coming in, and I literally feel it go down in there. Okay, let's start up here and get that going. And you need the energy in here to help release the particular part of your hip that I see stuck. If you want more, then you can pay to be on the show if you want. Okay, anybody else?
I don't think so.
All righty, you guys are great. So what do we always say? You need to heal it to feel it.
Heal instead of heal.
Resolve to evolve.
You can heal that.
Yes. And just remember to always stay blessed.
Stay blessed.
Exactly. You guys are great. And I'm just making sure that I end here.